Greetings, Halito, Hiya, and welcome. Welcome to Calethea X channel. I'm here to add my contribution to the process of the upliftment and enrichment and edification and healing of all aborigine, originals, or autochthonous peoples of the Americas at home and abroad. Currently lost at sea, I believe, drowning it seems in a sea of media and propaganda and entertainment. Today actually I'm making, this is like my third video, but actually this is my first one in response to Dane Calloway. He actually put a picture up which he put up a few days ago on YouTube, and I had actually made a few videos myself giving my rundown of what I thought was going on in this picture. So here we are, blam. I've actually read a few pages from this book, but unfortunately my computer is not the best, and you might be able to hear my fan. I hope it's not disturbing you too much. But when I listen back to the sound quality, not good at all. So here we have this picture here with this magnificent looking queen. It's actually a John Carter Brown book, and Dane actually posed the question, what do you think is going on here? So I'm going to do a breakdown of what I think is going on here. I actually came across this book a little while ago by a different means. There's quite a few people on YouTube who are actually going through these fantastic old books that we haven't really had access to before, and to be honest with you, just even going through the pictures alone would take about an hour, if not more, without even reading the book. And the books are not that easy to read, in fact, because they are around the 16th century, and you tend to find that two V's make a W. They do have S's and F's, but their F's can also be S. And then of course it's not quite Old Testament biblical the way they write thee, thou, but it's almost like that. So sometimes you have to read the sentence a few times to really get the gist of exactly what they're saying. So what have we here? This is my breakdown of this picture. It's rather marvellous. I think there's quite a lot going on here actually, and I'm going to be talking about some of the information that I've actually gathered from other people as well. So I'm not going to make this too long, but alright, clearly this is the Americas, and she, to me, is clearly being hailed as the Queen of America. But to me there's actually quite a lot going on here, and this is what I'm going to say. Okay, now I don't know if there's an event going on in the sky, because we've got all of these black clouds here, alright, and light coming from here, but there also seems to be another light source behind her head. Alright, whether that's symbolic or whether that's real, I don't know, but if you can see this, the sky's not really looking too happy. See all these black clouds at the back as well, loads of them. Alright, now one of the things that I thought was quite possible, thinking about symbology, because basically that's what these guys are doing, they're looking at these pictures and breaking down symbology, and they've been actually managed to put a few things together, which I'm going to mention in while I break down this picture as well. But looking at basic symbology, she's got three sets of feathers here, and I think that she has just won a battle. Alright, quite possibly it was a battle against maybe other giants, and these, I'm not going to say good guys, bad guys, because we really don't know, but I think these are some of the guys that helped her and these guys win a battle. And the reason why I say that is because You've got the 3 feathers here. Okay, when you come further down here, there's a guy there with 3 feathers, and I would imagine maybe he represented a different part of America. Alright, she has two lots of feathers here on her crown, so I'm not even sure if she is a part of America at this stage. Alright, quite possibly maybe these are part of her crowd. She seems quite concerned with her llama though, so maybe there was a trade involved and that was why they got involved in the battle. Okay. Also, and the reason why I say that is because initially when I first looked at this picture, I thought these guys here were perhaps the conquistadors, but no, they're all looking up to her, both sides, and she's throwing down what seems to be a crown, a scepter, a bell. Is that jewelry? And there, that could possibly be gold. Alright, so is that payment for these guys? Possibly payment for these guys? I mean, he's looking kind of forlorn. These guys not looking too happy. Yeah, he's looking a bit forlorn. Maybe they're the side that lost. Because there you see she's got that. Maybe that's an addition. You can think about the Pope's mitre, I think they call his hat. Pretty similar thing. Alright. Now we can clearly see that there has been some kind of a battle because all the spears are up. All the spears are up. If we look in the background there, we can see at least 3 ships. So it was a big battle. And of course we have the cannons coming out of the castle. Let me see if we can... Alright. Something to do with what we call today China over here. Okay, and that's one of the things to look for actually in a lot of the symbology, because in other pictures that I looked at, and I'm not saying this is the same guy, but it's a similar style, except where I've been able to zoom in really closely on his headgear, what we can see here is that it actually is a bird, and it's a plumed bird as well. And I imagine he represents a particular area. Again, pretty similar to this lady and this gentleman over here. You can see these guys in the background. I think they all belong to what I call the stand-up arrow tribe. Alright. Because it's a slightly different headdress from this gentleman here, who seems to be the fluffy feathered tribe. Sorry, I know, it don't make sense, but here again you see the stand-up feather, and these, because I hadn't seen this in detail before, I was calling them the bobble hat guys, because from a distance he does look like it's a bobble, because you can't see all of this detail. But what I thought was quite interesting was what he actually had on. It seems like he has some kind of tartan on, and I wonder if he was anything to do with the Arawaks for any reason. Alright, and this is where I'm going to get a little bit crazy, because I'm going to suggest there's possibility that these guys were giants, and this was actually a war of the giants. I came across a website years ago, and I really wish I could find it. I don't use that hard drive anymore, and even though I bookmarked it, as much as I try to find it, I can't. And it was a video I'd actually watched on YouTube, and somebody had left a comment, and being the nosy person that I am, I clicked on the link, bookmarked it, because it actually gave a really good history of the giants and the various wars that happened. And I think this was like towards the ending of the giants, when perhaps the really huge giants that mud floods and those people talk about were not in existence anymore. We're probably talking about maybe 8-9 feet I mean, still tall, but not the 15 and 30 feet that people talk about. I think this is what was the ending of the giants. Alright. There was something else. Actually, yes. Now, I think, and the reason why I say that is because I have delved a little bit into the book, and there is the Peruvians say that a tribe of giants came to the land, and they were very well, they were cannibals basically. They killed off all the huge animals, the big snakes and serpents and stuff, and ate them, and then started to and ate the people as well. And there are pictures actually further on in this book where you see them chopping up and having a really very tasty meal. These guys here. Alright. And so I get the feeling that these were the remnants perhaps of those giants that were cannibals and just basically ate anything and everything. I'm going to be doing some more blogs on videos on this. Alright, but that's basically what I think is happening. Now for the madness. This is when I'm going to start getting crazy. Alright, because oh, and I've forgotten the guy's name. Wow. Headley. Something 33. Anyway, I think that there's some magnetic energy going on here because of the way the sky looks. I think there's, and the reason why is because of what she's got behind her back. I don't believe that that is a bunch of arrows, and if you want any kind of confirmation of that, I think you could easily watch Martin Liedtke. He does a series of videos called The Greatest Story Never Told, where, as I mentioned before, by just going through old drawings and paintings and pictures and looking at recognizing patterns, they've been able to put together that there is some kind of energy that the controllers use. We believe it's some kind of magnetic energy. There it is again. It's not a bunch of arrows. And if you ever pay attention to whoever's in charge of the United States, when they're standing in front of their flag, you will see two of these fasces either side. Alright, and it looks like a bundle of sticks that's wrapped around with some kind of a coil. And we think that this is some kind of copper. Alright, copper rods that's wrapped up with perhaps copper again. I watched it quite a while ago, so I can't really remember, but I'm sure people who have a better understanding of magnetics is going to understand what I'm talking about. Alright, because what you always notice when they have these things is they always have some kind of a scepter with them as well. Alright, because that looks like a scepter to me. I don't think that that is an arrow. See? Let's have a look at this. That's not an arrow. That is not an arrow. And again, that looks like another scepter that's been thrown down. Alright? And so this is why I'm saying that I think it's some kind of magnetic energy. And I'm absolutely convinced that because the ancients, apart from being rather large, but they studied nature, they worked with nature, and I think they understood the energy that we have around us a lot more than we do. And only because we haven't been taught, we haven't been told. What's interesting, and again, this shape here, alright, I think this has got to do with magnetic energy. I also think it was very similar to the shape of a KKK hat, that witch's hat that you see a lot of people in South America wear. Alright, I'm not saying it's the same thing, it's just that same shape. Alright, but I just have a feeling that this is something to do with magnetic energy because it looks metallic. Alright, so I think it's something to do with energy, I really do. And she's in a shell. I don't know if that's representing salt water or if that's representative of the people that she's taken over. but again, if we're talking energy, salt water would be of some significance. Alright. When I first saw this, I thought perhaps these were the people that had lost, because her fasces is full, the Queen's fasces is full, but his is empty. And I thought, did they white this out? Because we do know they tamper with these pictures. They tamper with just about everything. Can't resist it. But then I thought, I wonder if it's because he was actually one of the guys who was really helping with, and his things just drained out. There's no more left. Whatever energy he could get out of this, because again, you can see it's not. I don't think that is any kind of woven basket or anything. To me, that looks like metal, and whatever he's got by his side is of great importance. Well, I say great importance. It's of some significance. Look, because that looks like some kind of metal ball. That's another kind of metal ball. Alright. Maybe actually this is something that was able to project these things. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they would do it. That's what I'm saying. Or, I mean, is that half of this? Is that another part to this? And these are some of its component parts? I'm sure someone with a bit of a science brain could maybe understand it more than me. But what I thought was quite interesting actually was this bit here, where I thought it was quite interesting, the fact that this was obviously some sort of construction that's going on there, and but it's kind of hollow and shallow because it looks pretty from the outside, not that brilliant there, and of course it's just full of rocks. And I think that again has got to do with the Peruvian myth that well, not myth, I shouldn't say that, it's their oral history. That's what it is. You see, that's part of the programming there. Their oral history, where they say that when the giants arrived, they were very wasteful. They built huge monuments, and they were of no use. You know, they just built these giant edifices all over the place. So I'm wondering if that is symbolic of that, because it's empty. See, it's like it's not really anything. It's not. Oh wow! Thank you, Google, for letting me know. Yeah, it's full of rocks. It's not this substantial, marvelous thing that they seem to think it was when they were building it. The indigenous Peruvians, who were always there, were not at all impressed with these giants. Alright. And so, yes, I think that's what's happened. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to post another video, because I have a feeling, talking about this marvellous queen that we have here, I wonder if we can zoom in a little bit more on her. Majestic thing that, oh, she's not a queen, actually she's an empress. There again, the programming, we know that queen is not a good thing. Isn't she gorgeous? Look at that. Powerful lady. I have a feeling that she has just taken, I think she's Susquehanna. I don't know for sure, but I think she's Susquehanna. And the reason why I say that is because the map that's in this book has her, and there's, in the left hand side of the map, there's a picture of this other Indian man, who I kept on looking at him and thinking, I've seen his face before, and that's because there's another map where you have the Susquehanna tribe, and I'm sorry, I'm not American, so I can't tell you exactly the areas, but the Susquehanna tribe is over more towards New York and everything, that side, and the Powhatan tribe are over on the other side, so they're more towards California. But it's these two huge empires basically, and I just get the feeling that this picture is representative of the fact that she's just taken over that empire. I really do. The problem is in that other picture where you see that although the man looks the same, she actually is pictured very white. But looking at this with her melon, you know, I just think that it's her. It looks like her. And I'm actually going to do another video, I think, with this picture and that picture of the map, with in fact it's Frederic Montelis, I think, and there are two serpents on top of that, on top of the plaque that's on that map, with that other man that I think is running the other half of America. Alright. Strangely enough, it says on that map mulatis, and I don't know if that's Latin for mulatto. But then again, we know that these guys came in, and they came in with their preconceived ideas. You know, necessarily because somebody is of a fairer skin shade of copper doesn't mean that they are necessarily mulatto. Although if these giants were running around raping and pillaging, because it did seem to me that they were kidnapping women and making them work in the fields, and although a lot of them were blonde and ginger haired, I think when they obviously went into new territories and stuff and started to take over the territories, they were making babies with the indigenous women through rape and pillage, unfortunately. So yes, that's my rundown of what I think is going on here. I think there's a lot going on here. I think she's the queen of all of the Americas, North and South. Clearly a wealthy country because she's able to pay these guys very well, and I think this is the losing side. I do, actually, because it's quite possible that she is actually wearing her crown too. When you look at it, this is my thoughts. These are my thoughts on what I think is going on in this rather marvellous picture. Alright. So that's my response to Dane Calloway. I hope you enjoyed this run through this crazy thing here. But as I say, I do think that this is a little bit more than just bow and arrow. I really do. I think that the ancients had tech, and I think they were able to tap into the free energy, the free magnetic energy that we have around us, in ways that we are only beginning to try to fathom. I think the controllers have known about it for a while, and quite possible that's what they were using for the California wildfires. Alright, so on that I am going to end this. Thank you very much for listening, and Dane, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I haven't made you think that I'm a complete and absolute loon for talking about magnetic energy and the fact that I think she's the queen of all of Americas, all of the Americas, and possibly a few other places too. There's definitely some Arawaks involved there, I'm convinced, because of this. Just because of that alone. You know, and that bird symbolism as well. And I'm not sure he's anything to do with the Bobble Hat tribe, to be honest with you, because I didn't really see anybody in the Bobble Hat tribe of this complexion. They were all this very strange look. Alright, so strong though, eh? Look at the muscles. I mean, even look at her. She's powerful. Very powerful. So, on that note, thank you very much. Hope to speak to you all soon. Bye.